each move she finds her voice. In our real life she makes her choice.
Hi everybody. So great to have you here. First, I want to do a quick audio check to make sure everybody can hear me loud and clear on this Sunday morning. Oh, I'm going to do a little roll call. I see that some very familiar names in the chat, and I'm so glad to be here with you. Yes. So I hope you have your coffee. It's backwards. We can chit chat this morning. My teenager got me this. I'm a ray of effing sunshine. I sent him to the mall about 4 years ago with $10 because he was going anyway. And I said, get me something. And he got me this. Oh, look who's here. Hi, girl. I know. I did have an extra hour. How's everybody doing with the time change? Because we got an extra hour, but I don't know about you guys, but it still throws me off. So today we are going to be talking about the Jubilee episode. I'm just going to kind of bide my time this morning, get some people in here and acknowledge who's here, and then get on with it. I want to talk not just about the Jubilee episode, but how we got here. How did we get here? How has the ex-Scientology space ended up? Where are we today? And how did we get here? And how did I end up on Jubilee? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hi, so glad for being here. Thank you, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Okay, Dana says she just ordered my book. I will be doing shameless plugs for my book today. I'm trying to incorporate that more into my life. Hi, I'm Liz Gale. I wrote a book about my life growing up as a third-generation ex-Scientologist. It is available on Amazon. It is called Confessions of an Ex-Scientologist Pothead. That's me in a nutshell. Thank you. Oh, look. Hi. Hi. Good evening. Hello. Yeah. How did Liz get to Oregon? We can talk about that. Oh, man. But first, let's all take a Sunday morning check-in. I don't know. How do you guys spend your Sundays? I will say that on Sundays, I like to change my sheets around the house. I like to get my clothes ready for the week, clean out the fridge, do a reset. And I thought in some ways we could do the same thing here about everything that's been going on in the ex-Scientology space. And originally I started thinking we would start with the Jubilee episode and move backwards. But I had a change of heart today. And I, at this point, think maybe we should start at the beginning. I have been shrouded by Scientology, whether in Scientology or out of Scientology, for 10. Hold on a second. Theo, no. My dog, you guys. He can't stand that I'm in here talking to you. He's so jealous. Okay, backtrack. So I started thinking about Scientology has overshadowed my life, my entire life, from being born into Scientology. I was the little sister of a genius. My brother, 4 years older than me, really paved the way for my whole life. I was always in his shadow. And so that is kind of how I ended up going to Scientology schools. That's how I ended up being in sort of a fast track public position in Scientology. That's why I did my courses at celebrity centers instead of the regular organizations. That's why when I joined staff, I was on staff at a celebrity center. Because though my family didn't have like celebrity status in some sort of pop world culture, within Scientology, they did hold a bit. My mother was a professional Scientologist, I would call it. You know, she didn't have a 9-to-5 regular career, working career. She did Scientology during those times. And that, combined with my father's high income, allowed her to really get to the top of Scientology in the 90s and late 80s. So I was born into that, right? Lived my life, did whatever, problem child. And I rejected that. Now, 10 years, I've been in the ex-Scientology space for 10 years. And that's really wild to think about. Maybe it's 9 years, but a long time, you guys, a long time. And it never ceases to amaze me how bonkers it is around here in the ex-Scientology community. People are always, you know, finding their voice. And sometimes that means they're going too far, you know, protesting or publicizing things, or I don't mean too far, but people protest and are activists against Scientology in a variety of ways. Those lead to arrests, like often. And they lead to, there's just so many wild things that happen in the ex-Scientology community. And I think when something new happens, I like to reflect. So this Jubilee thing, let me pull it up and share it with you guys. And then we'll work backwards. Share screen, allow. Hopefully I don't have anything weird on here. How is that looking? Where'd you guys go? Okay, so that won't work. Hold on a second, guys. Probably should have did this earlier. You don't need to see my dog grooming quote, but in case you were wondering, it's going to be about $85. That's too big. That's tiny. What have I done? This is bothering me, guys. There we go. Here we go. We're getting there. That'll work. Let's see if we can do this.
That millions of years ago or billions of years ago, everyone was like immortal spiritual beings, like with godlike power. Like their belief in God is that everyone is a god. Mm-hmm. And we have handicapped ourselves, like, you know, just to make it more fun. And that through Scientology, you can get back all these like native godlike powers and be able to move out of your body and like telekinesis and all this stuff that never has been proved.
Okay. Like Marvel characters?
Yeah, like
you're supposed to be in power over matter, energy, space, and time.
So
when you get to the top.
they are saying the end of the world is coming, and you're the only way that it's going to get better by getting your.
Cool.
Yeah. But that's so especially when you're a kid, you're like
Jedi and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Into it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thing is, it's very empowering in the beginning.
Oh boy. Okay, that goes on. I'll show us a couple more. I have not watched the whole thing yet, you guys. I have not watched the whole thing because I cannot handle it. I will watch it in chunks. But who was there? Mike Brown, who is a fellow ex-Scientologist. He is a girl dad and Army guy, very steady, smart, capable. There was Alexander Barnes Ross, who here's a funny story. He was posting about how IAS or OSA was changing his flights. Okay, I'm going to back up. Back up here, guys. Back up. Alexander Barnes Ross is a fellow ex-Scientologist. He's from the UK, and he's been doing protest work there and making a lot of news for himself and for the anti-Scientology movement. He was on this panel, and on his public YouTube channel, on the way here, he was posting things like Scientology operatives were following him and were trying to change his flights, these types of things, which I have no reason to disbelieve. That's exactly how Scientology operatives work when they're retaliating against somebody who is speaking out against them. That's how it goes. So I actually texted him, and we're not really supposed to know that each other's going to be on the show. No, I emailed him. don't think I have his phone number. Anyway, I emailed him and I was trying to let him know that I was in the area. And I also wanted to feel safe by like checking in. I don't know. Maybe that sounds dumb. We're not great friends, but we haven't had issues. We went to a conference a year and a half ago and sat down face to face over some, drinks. And it was great. So it was fine. But I texted him. I was so cryptic. I was like, are you going to be at this thing at first? He goes, oh, well, I can't tell you. We signed NDAs. And I was like, okay. Well, then I was like, well, I'm in LA. Wink, wink. If you need anything before tomorrow, wink, wink. And he was so strange. He was just responded very coldly and strangely. And then I realized, wow, Liz, I seemed like the OSAP. I was like, oh yeah, I'm texting him. Where are you? Who are you with? So we laughed about that the next day. I was like, I really was just trying to tell you that I'm also going to be there tomorrow. Reach out if you need me. But I went about it in the weirdest way. So that's funny. I feel safer knowing that people know I'm in the area if I'm out of town, like allies in that regard. So that made me feel better. Look, thank you. Larry Lar1 for gifting memberships. I will have to actually do some things on my memberships here. I have a 99-cent membership. I call it my art supporter membership. I am working on a project that I'm really excited about, and we can talk about it more in a bit, but it is a visual representation of Scientology's roots, its early connections with intelligence agencies, the sci-fi world, occultism, Aleister Crowley, Jack Parsons, that whole connection, moving forward through time into the creation of the Sea organization and then many scandals. So it's like a visual walkthrough of these different aspects of Scientology with, newspaper headlines, real ones, and artifacts. Oh my gosh, you guys, do you know what I did? This is kind of embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Let me look at some of these comments before I tell you this embarrassing thing I did. Oh, I appreciate that. No problem. Loveless Gail, wish we could see some more. Don't do TikTok, so I get what I can get. Peace, good luck, stay safe. You're so sweet. Yes, I am far more active on TikTok than I am usually over here, but I don't do these on TikTok. Just so you know, Larry, you get more of me actually in a lot of ways. So that's why I like to be here. Yep. Thank you. Wow, member for 8 months. I'm so, that's why I come over here, because you guys are here. The crew. I love it. Okay, so you guys watched it. Thank you. Does it matter to you? Oh, you guys are so great. You guys are amazing. That's a lousy 99 at the end of the month renew. I know it is. It is a lousy 99. However, I'm not afraid to make art for the masses. I wouldn't be mad if, 100,000 people paid me 99 cents a month. That's absurd, but you know what I mean. Money's tight these days too. Thank you. Hey, Carrie Ann. Oh, you do the most amazing art. You can't wait to see it. Well, I would very much hope, she's local to me, and I would very much hope that you would be one of the first to see it at one of my first shows. I would hope that very much. Don't drive and text. You've been a member for 9 months, by the way. Thank you. Oh, me and Taz. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I was going to tell you this story. This embarrassing thing that I did. Oh, cheers to that. I'm going to count on it then. I'm going to count on it. Yeah. I've been really working on this art, on how to, I feel like I'm in a final phase of it, right? First, there was the conceptualization, which was, and the first creation, which was a little more arts and craftsy than I wanted my final presentation to be. So now It's stepping up the presentation also in a way, again, that is easy to move, easy to transport and to reconfigure. So yes, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Okay. So some people, let's talk about getting a little wine drunk. Liz, that's so out of character. I mean, I'm sure you've all been there where you buy something online late at night. Maybe you're drunk on chocolate. Maybe you're just carved out. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you've had a glass of Chardonnay and you order something and then you wake up and sometimes you regret it. And sometimes you are so excited that you're glad you did it. And for me, it's the latter. I was looking on eBay, as I do, for, vintage Scientology related things for the art project, actually, that I was just talking about. I use magazines, artifacts, pictures. You'd be surprised what people sell on eBay. I can't afford most of it, but I like to just see what's out there. There are handwritten letters with the envelopes with the stamps. All that stuff looks so cool up on like a detective board, the red string for the art. Well, did you know that for $24.99 you can become the proud owner of a chunk of Aleister Crowley? Yes, the what do they call him? The godfather of the occult. He called himself the Beast 666. Does this name ring a bell? You can be the proud owner of a burnt chard of wood of his house. Yes, his Scottish house that burned down, that I think Led Zeppelin bought or recorded an album in. Anyway, this historical place in Scotland burned. And I now, as soon as it arrives in the mail, will be a proud owner of a certified chunk of Aleister Crowley's burnt down home. So if anybody ever wonders what kind of weird crap I'm into, that's it. So pretty wild, pretty wild. You guys want to see it? I'll 100% show you it. Let's see. eBay, Aleister Crowley. You can buy one too. Burnt house piece. That's what we'll Google. Can you see this yet? No, here we go. I'm going to add this. Boom, right there. This one was a little bit more. Yeah, I know. Be careful. This one says haunted. I don't think it's haunted. His house. Yeah. It's 100% going to be a part of this art. I'm not really sure if I'm accidentally starting some sort of museum. That might be the case. People have tiny homes. Why not have a tiny museum? So maybe that will be my way of figuring it all out. I was joking with my husband. I said, we should do a tiny museum. He's really into Bigfoot. So it would be Scientology on one side and Bigfoot on the other. So a Scientology Bigfoot tiny museum. And I honestly think we could take that show on the road. The merch is just beautiful. Like Bigfoot on the e-meter. He does have skin palms, I think. Yeah. I know, right? Yes, a traveling little museum set up outside of shops. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh, your name's green. I think that means that you are a member. So, hey, great. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So, all right. I told you about Alex. Mike. Who else was on there? Oh, Chris Shelton. Yes. Okay. Now, some of you who followed me for a while know that I have engaged in what one would call a beef, an online beef with Chris Shelton. Chris Shelton is another ex-Scientologist creator here on YouTube. I believe it's called I actually don't know what his channel is called now, but you can just search Chris Shelton. Now, here's the thing. I watch a lot of Chris Shelton's stuff. I always have, because there's some of the histories, especially when he talks to John Atack, they talk about Scientology history, which is what I'm really, really interested in. So I really enjoy learning. In fact, I just got John Atack's most recent book. And if I'm looking from here, it's called If Scientology Ruled the World. And it's about Nazi roots of Scientology, which I've known about and have researched, the occultism stuff. And then I'm not actually sure what else. I've only started the first chapter. It's fascinating already, I will tell you. But I love that stuff. And Chris Shelton does do some of that stuff. However, Chris Shelton, on a more personal level, we're not two peas in a pod. We rub each other the wrong way. Professionally, we have overlapped and attempted to keep it cool, but for the most part, we're just like oil and water, cheese and chalk, that kind of thing. I'm proud to say that we were professional at the scene of Jubilee. We, on camera backed each other up a little bit with concepts, and then he left, and that was that. So in that regard, good experience. I knew he was coming because on one of his lives, he said he would be in LA filming something that he couldn't talk about on the weekend that I happened to know it was, because I was also going. So thanks, Larry. Yeah, the video. Oh, yeah, I guess I could post the video. That was just a little, what's it called? Little link. Let me see. Jubilee, Middle Ground, Scientology. Okay, let's see. YouTube. No, these clips. You want to watch another clip? We can. I know, he can be difficult. You're right, Dana. I would do a book club. I think more likely I might just bring up some of the things he talks about. To backtrack about the book and John Atack, he is one of the very few people that seems to have the accurate information about the extent of Charles Manson's, like his study in Scientology. Okay, he claims that Manson studied over 200 hours of Scientology in prison, and when he got out, he used that because he was in jail or something before. Then he used that to coerce people in the family into doing the very famous Manson crimes. Whew, that was a mouthful. Anyway, I'm very interested in that. Okay. Oops, sorry, my mic's way too close to be making sounds like that. I was going to show you something, a clip. Let's watch it. I haven't watched any of these, you guys. That's Alex for reference.
Out against Scientology,
Right.
You become a target, and they will then go after you with a policy called fair game. Pretty much all of us, I'm pretty sure, have hate websites that they set up. I've had
I do not have a hate website, and do you see how sitting up straight I am? I am so nervous.
10,000 attack tweets in the last couple of days. My front door has been kicked in. My employer, my family have all been contacted in a desperate attempt to try and ruin my life so that I have nothing left. I've had my flights here and back to the UK messed with, right? I've had to have calls with my airline. I left Scientology, and yet they are still trying to continue to abuse me.
That is true. He is doing a lot in the UK, and they're really coming after him.
And all of us.
Let me just describe.
Did you see that? Oh my gosh. You guys, why'd they put me on the end? I am such a disgusting human being. Watch me wipe the sweat off of my palms and nervously shake my hand.
All of us.
Let me just describe that there's a division in the Church of Scientology called the Office of Special Affairs. They can do anything to you.
That's Chris Shelton.
And they will. They'll go through your trash. They'll
Sorry, you
stalk
can't
you.
make eye
They'll call
contact
your
with them.
neighbors. They'll tell them that you're under investigation.
You can't see his face. because of the captions. So for us,
Investigation for criminal activity. They will call your job. They will call your family.
I do love a good list though. A 1, 2, 3. Love that.
And there's a whole division of the church that literally doesn't have anything else to do all day except this activity.
She was so sweet. The ex-Jehovah's Witnesses there were actually so stinking nice. And we exchanged a lot of contacts. They're great. In fact, I hope to do a panel with them after this. It'd be so fun.
The policy says maybe tricked, sued, lied to, or destroyed. And destroyed is the key word. If it was legal, they would kill you. If you speak out against Scientology.
Okay, that's one of them. Whew. That wasn't so bad. Of course, I didn't speak much. Let's find one more and see if we can get something that I said going. I'm nervous. There was one question, you guys, actually, I'm going to find it. There was one question that I was a little nervous about it all getting out there. Thank you. That's sweet of you to say that we all get nervous on camera. Aw. Oh, hi. Thank you, Aura. New member. Woo woo. I felt very confident in my dress and my shoes, but I'm a big girl. Like I was taller than everybody. I'm a big girl, you guys. I'm huge. Okay. I was going to try and find, I was going to tell you. So one of the questions on this show, the format of this show is everybody stands back. They ask a question, whether you agree or disagree based on the question. You go and sit down and you have a conversation. One of the questions was whether you felt that your cult, religion, high control group had instilled sexual shame, that you still felt sexual shame to this day based on your experience growing up in whichever cult you were in. All of the Jehovah's Witness, ex-Jehovah's Witness sat down. They still harbored some sort of shame associated with sex. And none of the ex-Scientologists sat down. And I did have something to say about that at the time. And that's like one of the moments that I've been wondering about, because you never know how you're going to be edited, all those things. So I still don't know, to be honest with you. So, eek. Here's me talking. Did we just look at that one? Hold on. Wait. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous now. How do I find that one? A detailed look, raising a family. Maybe I'll just put sexual shame. There's the whole episode. This one's weird. A man's experiencing leaving Scientology, the struggles he's faced. All right, well, I don't know what this one's about, but let's watch it.
Situation.
That's designed.
Whoa.
It's designed. It is designed, and it's financially beneficial.
My former religion protects abusers.
I guess we'll watch this one.
Most of my maternal family are Scientologists, generational Scientologists, and we also have a problem in my family with generational molestation.
Oh, okay.
And my grandfather may or may not have started it, but he was in Scientology, and then his son. And this has been found out over the years. Different victims, different generations, different times.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And the solution in that moment, Scientology decides that it would be bad for our family to send the abuser to jail, because
Oh my gosh, you guys. Whoo, I came in hot. Maybe we'll drink a little sip of coffee before we watch this one. That is what Scientologists believe, by the way. Oops, sorry about that. That Scientology can fix this.
in jail or prison, they will not be rehabilitated. So instead, they internally handle it. They say, our technology is going to cure this person. So they charge that person money. They monetize the crime, and then they do a bunch of stuff and they get absolved.
I'm happy to see somebody else squirming. Do you guys see Cameron there? He's like, oops, sorry guys.
So instead, they internally handle it. They say, our technology is going to cure this person. So they charge that person money. They monetize the crime, and then they do a bunch of stuff and they get absolved. The police are never called. Authorities are never told. And in most cases, those children are put back into the same environment with that abuser. Meanwhile, in my case, if you're the victim, it's, well, what did you do? So now Scientology is monetizing this on two sides, right? I'm paying to find out what I did to pull in this horrible crime, and the perpetrator is now paying to get absolved. So there's a system built into that, and it's, my story, that's not a unique situation.
Woo! Okay. What I said made sense. Ah, that's good. That's good. You're 5 foot tall. You're fun size. Well, I'm fun size too. Thank you. Oh gosh. Is it? Yeah, I think. Okay, I'll find it. Thank you guys. Thank you. Whew, that it was, I mean, it's a challenge. It is a challenge on so many levels. For one, when I'm here with you, I'm in complete control. I can delete this in 5 seconds if I want to. I can edit whatever I want. But when somebody else, and you're signing away your rights to the footage, they can really edit you in whatever way they see fit. And that is always a nervous feeling. The same thing happened when I filmed for the Leah Remini, the Aftermath Scientology show. You spill your guts, and then you wait for weeks or months until it's released. And they don't show you. I mean, I've never been of the bracket of producer that they would ever show me the footage before it's publicly released. So you find out with the rest of the world. And that's a weird feeling, especially when you're talking about something as personal as, your family's history in that way. Ooh, my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, thanks. My hair was kind of in my face and not as straight as I would have liked, but that's okay. Hey. Yeah, it is messed up. It's true though, and I've worked really hard to be able to try to explain that to people in a soundbite, to really be able to honestly say to the world. And I have Serge Del Mar to thank for a lot of that, because if you guys don't know Serge, at Literally Serge, he grew up in the Sea Org. So Scientology has a lot of different branches. I grew up as a public Scientologist. Earlier, I mentioned that I did my courses at celebrity centers. I went to a very expensive top Scientology boarding school. And my brother paved the way, right? He actually, after graduation, went on to MIT. Then he worked with Sky Dayton, who was the founder of Earthlink, who now was, I believe, a huge investor in Ring, big time tech people. Now, my brother passed away at 19, but many of the people that he worked with went on, like I said, to invest in things, major startups in the tech industry. So that, I guess, coupled with the fact that he, jumped out of a 15-story building at 19, it did not give us celebrity standing at that point, but it gave us a little bit of weird protection, if that makes sense. Partially because the current leader of Scientology, David Miscavige, his whole family, his parents, his brother, his sister, worked for my dad back in the 80s. So there's all these like interwoven lines that afforded me, like, I was almost like wakeboarding behind my brother and the rest of our family through Scientology until I hit a freaking wall. Serge, on the other hand, and many of the other creators that you read or hear about grew up in the Sea organization. That means that he grew up at labor camps as a part of the sort of Navy, Army, militant, far more, how do I explain this? Physically abusive, physically neglectful, horrible, just really, really horrible, and more like a prison labor camp than the kind of gilded prison I guess I had. Now, don't get me wrong, the indoctrination is the same, right? And when he and I or others and I compare notes, there are many, many similarities, and the type of damage still exists for both of us. That said, Serge Delmar is no bullshit. He was one of the first people who really did not mince words and said, this is abuse. For you to be interrogated about all of your sexual thoughts and encounters at 14 years old and having your parents pay for that and having that be recorded and then held against you and kept on your file is abuse, especially when you are telling them over and over, you don't want to do this, right? Now, it's not the same as having food withheld or having my parents' interaction withheld, but there's a similar type of scar and trauma and damage that really, really messes with a developing human being. Now, he said that Scientology monetizes felonies. So simple, just like that. They monetize felonies. And it took me a while to really understand that. And I'm proud of myself that I was able to express that when I went on the Jubilee show. And really, I hope that it was clear, but to really say they charge this person, I could have gone on and on, like they charge them to be sec checked and to do their ethics handling and then do courses and training and get auditing, thousands and thousands of dollars for this program that's going to fix them. Meanwhile, the same thing happens to their victim, especially if they're the child of a Scientologist who has a lot of money who will sign off on that. Anyway, I did get to see Serge. Oops, I bumped it again. I actually stayed with him that first night, and I should probably reach out and see how he is doing. We're going to look at some comments for a minute. Yes, Sky is the golden child for Delphi. So Sky Dayton, go ahead and Google him. And his wife is actually a author, I believe, local author who does very well for herself. She used to work with Sky in the early days at Earthlink, and she security checked, audited my brother when he was 15 and worked for them. So she can suck it, in my opinion, as can Sky. Thank you so much, Miss Sunrise Dawn, and for sticking around. Oh yeah, sure, please. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Even if they edited all the others on the panel and anyone there heard you, what a concept, monetized on both ends. True. Absolutely. Yep. See, you guys get it. Yep. All right. Well, maybe we can watch another clip here. I wanted to find the one. Other people are saying brilliant things. I know it, but I'm like hyper focused on this one, maybe. I'm so tall. You guys are going to see how tall I am in just a second. Okay. Here it is. Oh, I might cover my face. Let's see. I'm not really going to, but I might. This is wild to go on to say all this publicly. Like, who has the audacity?
Sexual shame still affects me today.
Look at that. Look how tall I am. I'm huge.
Man, the Jehovah's Witnesses are all about sexual shame. Yeah, like they're a
Cameron.
sex-obsessed cult. They talk about it all the time, from the moment you join or pop out of your family. It's all about shame, guilt, control, and they leave you highly ignorant about it. So when any diddling happens, like the kids don't know what's going on, and they can hide it.
I think that him, Cameron, and I probably connected the most because our senses of humor are so similar and offensive.
I've had to let go and heal a lot of that through therapy. But when you grow up in a highly controlled environment where everyone's in your business, they know who you like and they think they have people who they want you to date and get married to and reproduce with, and they try to manipulate and control your whole lives, and you're not allowed to masturbate when you're hitting puberty. And then if you do, you have to tell them, and they ask way too many personal questions in those elder meetings.
What he's saying there could honestly also be Scientology.
Of like, what did you do? Did you like it? Was it this porn? Was it that porn? Was it? And then, especially with girls, they get super creepy with girls.
I mean, the level of graphic that they get into, especially when you are a young woman sitting in front of 360.
Cassandra was also so brave and strong and beautiful.
Plus men, like
alone,
without
your parents.
Without your parents, and they'll ask incredibly detailed questions about who touched who, how long, if you orgasmed, like very, very detailed.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
What did you do?
Gosh, I probably should have given like a full-on warning. I forget that we went into that level of detail.
Yeah.
And this whole time they're trying to gauge how repentant you are about it too, but you're
and
also
how
like,
culpable you were in the action, and so even
whose fault it is.
I forget her first name, but she was so kind also and really communicated so clearly
that it happened.
Even women who have experienced sexual assault get taken through the same process.
And most of those elders are abusers themselves. Most of them have molested kids and people in the congregation.
At the very minimum, they're completely unqualified to hold a conversation like that. It is really hard to shake that kind of shame, especially coming out as gay on top of it. Like the messaging throughout the entire organization, I mean, 39 years essentially of indoctrination about what a gross sin that is, and like the level and the money I had to spend to.
Isn't that interesting? So she had to spend a lot of money too.
Work through it. Like I did neurofeedback. I did.
By the way, she's talking about spending money in therapy. Yep. This guy in the end here, his name is Mike. He has an ex-Jehovah's Witness podcast. I can't remember what it's called, but he's also a very interesting and cool guy. He and his lovely wife, I believe, drove there, and they were getting to like drive back home. Which was going to be over several days or even weeks. They were having this road trip, and I was very envious, thinking, oh my gosh, I want to run away right now too. Let me run away.
Therapy. I sought out ex-Jehovah's Witness therapists and coaches and things like that. And it's such an insane process to deconstruct that.
I mean, look at why everyone is disfellowshipped or kicked out. It's almost always sexual sins, right? Because if they can control a natural biological urge and need for most folks, then what can't they control? And so that's where all the focus usually is. I mean, how many cults are sex obsessed, and the leader tells everyone who they can have sex with or who they can't, or he has.
Do you know who else did that? I mean, it's not unusual, but like Charles Manson did that for sure with all the people and told people what to do. If you think about more, would we call the Diddy situation a cult? I mean, in some ways it has to be, right? There's conspiracy. Yes, I'm talking about Diddy and his crimes that he may or may not, I don't know. I don't keep up with the news, but what he was allegedly accused of was having this weird situation where he was putting power over who would connect with who and in what way sexually. So, and I think we see that in the Epstein situation as well. Like there's this weird power manipulation control from that. So strange.
Sex with everybody, you know. I mean, like, isn't that what they all do?
Yeah. Up until just when I left, I realized I'm fairly normal as a human being. I also came out as gay when I left as well. But everything about me I felt was so wrong and bad and was going to lead to destruction all the time. It's drilled in there that it's like, I am a terrible person. I'm so wrong for this. I'm so bad for this.
Well, they keep you disconnected from your body and your emotion. Like there's no normal growing up connected to who you are as a person. So once you're an adult,
around this time we were standing for so long.
And you're deconstructing that. It's like, I was healthy, I was normal, I was okay,
Right.
but you spend your childhood feeling wrong and dirty and bad.
That is such an important part. I'm so glad to see how this was edited, to be honest. I mean, she's brilliant and what she's saying is brilliant. And I'm happy it's being highlighted and kept in, because if you're always striving for perfection and you're always coming at it from a negative, like a child who this simple condition of being a child is wrong, right? Like going through puberty or having, urges, like all those things are wrong, but they're inherently part of being a human and you can't stop them. But then the religion or the organization doesn't take them into account, other than to stifle or stigmatize or add shame to them. It's a recipe for disaster as far as child development goes.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
They tried really hard.
Oh, here's me running my mouth. Hold on. I think I have to prepare for seeing myself talk about this kind of thing, guys. Whew, what's she gonna say? You guys have probably seen it. Here we go.
And I'm so wrong for this. I'm so bad for this.
Well, they keep you
Our
disconnected
consistent
from
struggle.
your body and your emotion.
Yeah.
Like there's no normal growing up connected to who you are as a person. So once you're an adult and you're deconstructing that, it's like, I was healthy, I was normal, I was okay,
Sorry, I
but you
went
spend your
back a little bit
childhood
far,
feeling
but
wrong and dirty and bad.
Yeah.
Here come the ex-Scientologists.
They tried really hard to shame me about sex, and it worked for a while. But we have the luxury of, we're not contending with God. Our founder was a man, and after I left Scientology and I had my rabbit hole to go down, I found out that this man was married 3 times when we weren't told. I found out that his first and second wives accused
My
him
hair
of
looks awful.
psychological torture. He was a bigamist. And so it's easier for me to dispel that shame because it's not coming from some, power, and I can pinpoint. I can say, no, this was a very deeply flawed human, white, 1950s male.
Called the race
I don't
card.
need it. I don't need it. And I can live with that. There's a document called Pain and Sex.
Oh,
That basically L. Ron Hubbard says that pain and sex are tools used by evil alien psychiatrists to basically enslave the population.
okay. Destructive creatures who do not want people big or reaching invented pain and sex to shrink people and cut their alertness, knowingness, power, and reach. That was a little policy letter written the year I was born. Thank you. That I had to study. I write about this in my book. Hey guys, is this time for a shameless plug for my book? Super pup, Erica. Thank you so much. Oh gosh, girl. Right now I feel it looks better than it did when I was there that day. If you would like to hear more about this pain and sex and the craziness that it is being a teenage girl in Scientology and coming to them for help and getting this document as your scripture to read about alien psychiatrists trying to squash and control people through pain and sex, then you should buy my book, Confessions of an Ex-Scientologist Pothead, available on Amazon today. Oh, was that good? Okay, let's go back.
And so when I was sexually assaulted at 14, and I went to my church and I said, hello, I'm in a relationship and it's not okay. I'm being hurt. They said, well, you need to study this. And so that's what I say when they try to get me. There is shame, but I guess we're just not the 4 people that are holding on to it.
Evil alien psychologists?
Psychiatrists.
Yes, psychiatrists, not to be, confused with psychologists. Though, this is part of what Scientology's anti-psychiatry, anti-psychology, anti-pharmaceutical dogma comes from, is this idea that alien psychiatrists have implanted all these things into our bodies and spirits and minds to control us and keep us down.
Yeah. Yep.
You ever say the words and you're like,
Oh yeah.
What were these guys on?
I definitely do.
Psychiatrists are demons in
That's Chris.
Scientology.
Yeah,
ours are demon
because
guys too,
there's
yeah.
past lives and
Chris is like, let's take this back a notch here. Under the false data of the psychs, the psychiatrists who have been on the track a long time and are the sole cause of decline in the universe, both pain and sex are gaining ground in this society, may very soon make the land a true jungle of crime. Same document. This is the document. I've had to read this. In fact, another ex-Scientologist who I love and adore named Joy Vila, she, you can Google her. I don't think she's one thing. She's an artist, a singer, an actress, a producer, a model, a fitness inspiration, a motivational speaker, all these things. And she's a Christian. Well, I believe she is. Yes, she's Christian. She believes in Jesus. And one of the things her and I have come to realize is, yes, that this is the demon in Scientology, right? The equivalent, or the psychiatrist. And she also had to read this document many, many, many times.
because we've been around for billions of years. Psychiatrists are the universe's bad guys in Scientology. They are the modern incarnation of evil beings who have been trying to enslave populations for trillennia. It's a complete fantasy and it's L. Ron Hubbard's delusional.
Whoa. Way to drop a new word. Is that a word I've never heard before? Trillennia? Trillennia. Define. Hold on, guys. Trillennia. Is that like trillions? Triennial, 3 years, trillion. I guess maybe it's not a word. Oh boy. It's probably a word. I don't want to call him out like that. I just probably spelled it wrong.
Fantasy, but it is given to all Scientologists.
That's Xenu's bad guys.
Xenu's and even preceding that, yes.
I would never let my child join the religion I left.
One part two. Does everybody sit down? All of us are like, oh, no.
One of the first things that I ever had doubts about was when I started thinking about my children as they started to get a little bit older. I have an 8, a 7, and a 3-year-old. And when I first was thinking that if I ever get remarried, I'm gonna be shunned, I had that realization and I went, there's no planet that I would ever do anything remotely close to this to my children. And the only thing that I did tell my dad when we had a final conversation when I was being shunned was I would never do this to my own children. Realizing that I had never had the feeling of being truly loved or accepted by my parents was kind of a revelation. My parents were my best friends prior to this. Like, I was there almost every night. They live right down the street.
Can you imagine shunning your daughter? She lives right down the street. She's got your 3 grandchildren. What the hell?
But it was all gone in like one fell swoop. And I realized that this was never going to be something that I want my kids to have anything to do with. I told them that I would never be a part of any religion that would tell me I need to have some kind of wall between me and my children, because that feels the most wrong that anything could ever feel to me.
I am yet to speak to a single ex-Scientologist who was not abused or harmed in some way, shape or form. And for me, that indicates that abuse occurs at every level of this organization, in every city in which it operates. And for that reason, if I was to have kids, I would never let them go anywhere near Scientology, JWs, any sort of cult. I would educate.
I think out of us 4 ex-Scientologists, not these 2, these are ex-Jehovah's Witness on the screen, but there's Chris Shelton, who I don't think has kids. Gosh, does he have a kid? I'm not actually sure. And then Mike has 3 girls. And then there's me. And Alex doesn't, I believe.
Educate them on how these groups work, how coercive control works, and hopefully that will defend them from being manipulated, being gaslit and being lied to by these organizations.
to your point, I don't have kids yet. I do, at least right now, still want to get married and have kids. I would like to have a couple. I don't ever want to see that happen to them. And I know that's what my mom, she went through a lot of abuse too. She didn't want to ever see that happen to me, but it did. And she still stayed in. And that was that rocks your world. And when I do have kids, I have a plan, at least for right now, and it seems to work with my therapist, is I'm gonna take them to the Jehovah's Witness church. They're gonna be by my side. They're gonna go to some meetings. I'm gonna take them to Buddhism. I'm gonna take them to an atheist rally. I'm gonna take them to a pride rally. I'm gonna take them to a magazine, whatever the opposite. I want them to see everything and raise their emotional intelligence extremely high, because that's what is very low in these organizations. They want us dumb.
I love the fact
let my kids be educated and know how to communicate. And
what I hear him saying is he wants to expose his children, future children, to a lot of different things instead of just provide this one closed-minded, closed-loop path.
And train them well to be able to spot manipulation from a mile away.
Yeah,
Being able to see different perspectives.
Yeah.
We didn't get that at all.
No, I want to give them the world and whatever they become and be. Like, I'm not going to cut them off.
Yeah.
And I will love them as long as they're not like psycho killers or, start diddling kids.
Psycho
I think I would do pretty well as a parent, however they turn out. And I will expose them to stuff, but they will be right by my fucking side.
So when I got pregnant and I told my parents, it was kind of a surprise. I was in my 20s.
Okay. I'm going to say something. Here we go.
And when I went to tell my parents, my stepfather said to me, your child's going to be a fourth-generation Scientologist, whether you like it or not.
That's a true ass story. They had never even met their future son-in-law. And yeah, they got pregnant a little early, but still, that was you cannot believe he said that. Your child's going to be a fourth-generation Scientologist, whether you like it or not. Boo. You should apologize for that, Jure. Maybe you started this whole thing. Ever think about that?
And that stuck with me, as you can imagine. My oldest is 19 now, and I got 2 boys, the other one's 11. Later, I realized that it actually wasn't enough for me to walk away quietly. I actually had to make a scene so that they would never, they would never come after my children.
That is what I felt I had to do. I felt I had to blow up, make it publicly known that I did not stand for Scientology, lose everything, so that all of those insidious bridges would burn.
Because if I just walked away quietly, his grandparents or, would swoop in there. And actually, I had an older brother who was a poster child for Scientology. He was a genius. We went to Scientology boarding school.
Gosh, I feel like I tell the same story, but look it up, Philip Gale. Look it up. I dare you.
Very elite, very, the best of the best. If you raise your kids like this, they'll be great. Well, he committed suicide at 19. And at that time, I realized, everything's wrong. Everybody is saying this is so great. I have all these friends, and my brother are killing themselves. People are drinking bleach. I know 4 people that drank bleach just to get out of where they were. So I actually went to school. I got my degree in child and family studies.
Boom.
And education, it doesn't have to be a formal college thing, just learning more changed everything for me, because now I have a standard where I wasn't raised with that. Now I have a stand, this is abuse. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what you believe, it doesn't matter what you think, this is abuse, and there are developmental milestones and things that we all went through that were denied us, just that child experience. So my kids will never, but that was at great cost to me. I gave up my family, my inheritance, everything, so that they would never, ever be prey for Scientology. And I would do it again.
Mom.
Thank you. We know. You got to do what you've got to do.
Boom, you got to do what you got to do. And I don't think I can stand looking at my own face anymore. Oh my gosh. I did prove them wrong. Breaking news. Chris Shelton does have a son. Sorry, I was unaware. I didn't hear him speak to that question. And yes, thank you. Protecting my kids has always been the priority. And secondary to that are protecting everyone's kids, your kids, my kids, the world's kids. Yeah. Oh man, I have been so nervous to watch that, to be honest with you guys, because again, super, super personal content talking about the icky history of my maternal family. And that's the one that's been in Scientology for 70 years. And my stepsister's daughters, she has twin nieces. You can actually see them on the Scientology TV network. One of them joined the Sea organization recently within the past 2 years. She's not a minor anymore, but she really is signing her life away and her youth away. And so I know for a fact that this continues to happen. I also have my first cousin's daughter, actually all of her daughters, all 3 of her daughters were abused by my uncle. And there's never been formal charges that were stuck with him. In fact, the last I heard, when he was brought, charges were brought against him by either the state or the Fed, which I've never been able to get because they didn't stick, but maybe I can do a FOIA. The daughter hired the lawyer to protect him because the belief in our family culture for the past 70 years is that Scientology will solve the problem. And after suicides and, abuses and essays and all these different things, the pattern still seems to be the same with many of them. So bizarre. It's the definition of insanity, which is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. But did you know that in Scientology, they have their own definition of insanity? It is, if I recall correctly, it is not recognizing similarities as being similar, differences as being different, and identities as being identical. Take that for what you will, but that is the Scientology definition of insanity. It's all about identities and acknowledging what things are. So strange. Do you think that my nieces know about me? Yes. I am the black sheep, however, of the family. I don't know what all they have been told about me, but definitely that I'm a pothead, which is why I named my book Confessions of an Ex-Scientologist Pothead, because similar to like Leah Remini's Troublemaker, I wanted to take that power back, right? Like, sure, call me a pothead. And when you read my book, you understand that actually I was a lot more than a pothead. I actually worked for a prominent hemp lawyer here in Oregon who was instrumental in Measure 91, which is a law that we have in Oregon that every household can grow 4 cannabis plants as part of our garden, as part of our oregano, our snap peas, all these things, and we can have our own medicine, cannabis. I also had a hemp farm for a few years where we had over 5,000 CBD hemp plants, which I would be more than happy to make a little video about sometime. It wasn't financially a great choice, but I learned a lot. My husband actually has, back many years ago, when medical cannabis was here going in Oregon, he won the Oregon Growers Cup a couple times. So yeah, those are things all that I don't brag about a lot. But if you wanted to know more about why I called myself a pothead in my memoir, that's why. Because all of those things Scientology puts into one word: criminal. But they didn't ever take into account the cannabis industry, I don't think, and Oregon's laws. So they can't really call me a criminal anymore. Not like they could when they found out I was 14 and, smoked a joint. That's criminal, but it's not actually anymore. So yes, exactly. So I had actually wanted to talk about something else today, but I feel like I'll probably save it for another live, because we've talked a lot about the Jubilee, and I feel good about it. I think that maybe I'll do this again soon because I love hanging out with you. Thank you. I actually meant to put this one on, which is why I was smiling. Thank you. But this is also true. And that's why your brother's story is particularly powerful. He was our poster child, and he made sure it got out there what it did to him. Well, yeah, he sure did. He sure did. Oh yeah, good call. So next time I do want to talk more about the ex-Scientology world vibe. There is, I don't want to say tea, but it's been a while, I think, since we had a cumulative look over the past like 5, 6, 7, 8 years about what really has gone down in the ex-Scientology community. Now that one I want to do as a live on TikTok at the same time, and I'm not doing that today. So next time you see a thumbnail upcoming from me, it will probably be about that. And I'd be curious any of your questions. How do I explain this? I've seen some shit. I've seen a lot of the same mistakes made over and over. I've seen a lot of really new, cool, workable things come out. I remember when Anonymous put out their video way back in 2008 where they were going to attack Scientology. And that was one of the first moments I remember really considering that I was not going to be a Scientologist anymore, and feeling sick to my stomach and getting chills, and then even getting interrogated when I went back into the church the next time and talking to them about it, and them giving me a whole informational dead agent pack about Anonymous and how they were terrorists and all these different things. And that was in 2008. And now it's 2025, and I just went on Jubilee and talked about my family's secrets on the internet. And Jubilee has over 10 million followers. So that's a pretty big gap of growth, of change. And it wasn't, obviously just me alone. So many other people, it wasn't me alone at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like so many things other people did paved the way to get to where we are now. And I would love to do a retrospective about that. And I would love to talk about how things have gone down and remind ourselves too, because there's things that happen now. Some things that are happening now. The huge creator, Aaron Smith-Levin, he got another battery charge, and he's doing some protest stuff. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that I'm not going to get into today, but we can in the future. There's the whole new TikTok. I will show you guys. That one I want to do on TikTok live, but on my phone next to here, so we'll do it together. But you guys should understand what's happening over there. TikTok is a platform for a much younger demographic than a lot of other social media platforms. And Scientology has recently come out with hundreds of videos. They're using the same script. They're using young, attractive-looking people in matching uniforms. And they're trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the young kids, the next generation. And that is so important to me to point out. And I guess I want to also provide them with a little history lesson because I'm an elder millennial. And thinking about it now, yeah, I've been in this ex-Scientology space a while. So, yeah. Okay. Well, if you haven't seen the Jubilee episode, it is called Middle Ground Jubilee. You can ex-Scientologist, ex-Jehovah's Witness. You guys all know how to Google. Just Google it. I could try and add a link in the description. I say I'll do that though, and I'll never do it. I'm not. Who knows? If you see a link under this description to the Jubilee thing, like write me a comment and just say, "Congratulations, Liz! You finally put a link in the description." But other than that, it's probably not going to happen. I appreciate you guys too, and I love you guys. Please consider becoming a member. I am going to create some short form content that's just for my members. I'm supposed to be doing that anyway, actually, technically by YouTube rules, but I'm going to. So that's going to be like a best friends vibe. Did you ever used to pass notes in class to your friends? That's how old I am. And that's what I want it to kind of be like. And maybe some super secret artsy ideas upcoming. You never know. All right, guys. I love you guys tons and tons and tons. And I will talk to you another day. Don't forget about me. Even if I don't post all the time, I'm still here. I'm still being me. And no, that's next level. All right, guys. It was awesome to see you guys too. I'll see you later. Bye.
She knows herself, she finds her way. Through art and joy, she shapes each day, crafting beauty.